everybody, welcome to our top 5 ASX Exchange Traded Funds. It's our daily horizon view, and the date is the 20th of the 3rd, 2019. Whoop, 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 whoop. So now a quick overview of what's been happening today. Down 0.4%, closed out at 62.51. Movers today on our heat map below, we had information technology, utilities, consumer staples, healthcare, real estate, all up. Commodities, we're looking at some slight movement on the upside for aluminium, copper, gold, silver, platinum. The petroleum products also up, including Brent crude. Moving along. So top 5 percentage rises, we have our physical palladium ETF. We have our physical metals ETF. Both of the physical metals for those ETFs are held in HSBC Bank in the USA. RBTZ is our BetaShares Global Robotics and Artificial Intelligence ETF. QMix is the State Street Spider MSCI World Global Quality Mix Fund. So that one looks at sort of defensive type companies, a pro-cyclical factor. Do some more research on that one and see if I can understand how that one works a bit more. IXJ, I think that's another new one as well. That's the iShares Global Healthcare ETF. Index may include biotech, healthcare, medical equipment suppliers, and pharmaceutical companies. Top 5 percentage falls for the day. Let's have a look what we've got. QRE, IHD, BNKS, MBR, OZR. So QRE is our BetaShares S&P ASX 200 Resources ETF. IDH is the iShares S&P ASX Dividend Opportunity ETF. That one just looks at mainly Australian listed securities. BNKS is our BetaShares Global Banks ETF. MVR is the VanEck Vectors Australian Resources ETF. OZR is the State Street Spider S&P ASX 200 Resources Fund. So not many surprises there. I think most of those funds would include the bigger resources companies on the ASX, so like QRE, IDH, MVR, and OZR. Will include the larger resources companies, so that's why they're down today, because most of those, or a lot of the big falls will come because the iron ore price is down. So BHP and Rio and companies like that make up quite a large part of that index, so that's why that one will be down a bit. Or that's why people want to get out of it, I should say, rather. 1.22%, so sort of around the 1% fall today. Volume, pretty light volume really. Our top $5 rises, so we should see some familiar names from our top 5 percentage rises. We had our physical palladium ETF, our physical metals ETF, then we had IBV, which is the iShares S&P 500 ETF. Up after that we had SPY, which is the S&P 500 ETF, and that one's from State Street. That's a SPDR ETF. Finally, we had IXJ. So IXJ is the iShare Global Health Care ETF. So people looking to move into healthcare for whatever reason, but you know, once again, percentage rises. Physical platinum ETF that rose 1.89%. Volume very light, so you got 100 traded today, so very, very light volume. Nothing much to see on that one. Dollar falls, should expect to see some familiar faces from the top 5 percentage falls. See how we go. So we said IHVV, which is the iShares S&P 500 ETF, and that's hedged. Followed up after that was the IJR, which is the iShares S&P Small Cap 600. Followed up by that, call it his brother, so IJH, which is the iShares S&P Mid Cap 400. We had IHOOO, which is the iShares Global 100. That one's hedged, and that tracks index composed of 100 large cap global equities, so the biggest 100 companies around, and that one has a dividend from memory of about a bit over 7%. IKO, which is the iShares MSCI South Korea ETF. So that one tracks all the big companies on the Korean exchange. Top 5 number of trades. Should once again see all the big guys, and we do. So we got VAS, VGS, VHY, IVV, and STW. So VAS is Vanguard Australia's shares index, so it tracks the ASX 300. VGS is the Vanguard MSCI Index International shares, so that's got a big basket of shares. That's ex-Australia, that one. So if you're looking for exposure to equities outside Australia, I think there's 5,000 in that ETF. VHY is a Vanguard Australia Shares High Yield Index. So you're looking for yield, dividends, that might be worthwhile to look at that one. IVV, which is the iShares S&P 500 ETF. After that, we had STW, which is the State Street SPDR S&P ASX 200. So dominated by the bigger ETFs, more well-known ETFs. Top 5 of volume, we had JPN, US dollar, NDQ, VAS, BGS. So Japan is the BetaShares Wisdom Tree Japan ETF. That's currency hedged. So if you're looking for exposure to Japan, that's one of the ways you can get it. Not sure why you want it, but you can get it anyway. US dollar, BetaShares US dollar ETF. That was up second on the volume. So people looking to get in or out of the US dollar situation, I should say. Try to play it as best they can. NDQ, which is our NASDAQ top 100, and that's issued by BetaShares NDQ. VAS is the Vanguard Australia Share Index, and that, once again, as I mentioned before, that one tracks the top 300 on the ASX. Then we had VGS, which is the Vanguard MSCI Index International Shares, and as mentioned before, well, that one is ex-Australia, so if you're looking for global exposure at a reasonable cost, that's one to go for. That's about it on that one. Volume-wise, HJPN had significantly more volume through today, so 410,000 shares were sold in that one today. Interesting. That was one that doesn't come up in the top of those lists. Caught that off. Top 5 for value. Once again, expecting the familiar names. So we had VAS, VGS, HJPN, VHY, and AAA. Better volume, better value through today. Yesterday was a pretty slow, subdued market. So we had Vanguard Australia's Share Index VAS, and VGS was our Vanguard MSCI International Index, $6.9 million worth traded today. So HJPN, people looking for exposure to Japan. Then we had VHY, which is our Vanguard Australia Shares High Yield. People looking for some dividends, money in their pocket. AAA is the beta shares Australia High Interest Cash ETF from memory. I think that's almost the biggest ETF on the market. I'll do some more research on that. As I usually state, this is information only, and we always need to do our own research and seek additional advice where applicable. So we're really trying to educate people so we can crack our financial sky. So if you like these little movies, give us a like, give us a subscribe, and we'll try to keep to entertain and educate. Thanks.